Welcome to the Prescott Home Value Report through December 2024, brought to you by the Prescott Pickle Lady, Diane Bro Realtor. As you can probably tell, I am not the Pickle Lady. My name's Randall. I'm in the bottom right-hand corner. But the Pickle Lady has authorized me to show you the following slides. As always, we will start with the City of Prescott median sales price per square foot by month. As always, the red line is the current year. The blue line is last year to kind of give us a comparison. We are 7% higher than last year. Now, just last month, we were lower than last year. The month before, we were lower. The month before, we were lower. It's been since August since we actually were able to beat last year. This year, we came out swinging with 7%. I'm not sure what's going on there. I've been saying that the prices have been flat for some time. These prices have been neck and neck, but 7% bump in 1 month. We had a 4% month change just from the previous red dot to this, but that's 4%, and then this decline. So it gives a kind of a big jump. I wouldn't make too much of it. If we stay out ahead of the blue line for a while, particularly if we can keep a little white space between this dot and the last dot, we might be finally seeing some decent appreciation. Since COVID, we've been very, very flat since then. But we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens next year. Also, good news is our transaction volume. So this is each one of these represents the number of homes that closed in that month. Last year we saw a huge drop in November. That was primarily about when Thanksgiving showed up. It kind of distorted things a bit. But December didn't look much better. We came out way out ahead of November of last year and maintained that lead with a little increase from last month. So we're looking at some pretty hefty volume, particularly considering we are in what is supposed to be the slow season, which might explain a lot why we were so busy during the Christmas holidays. Now you may ask, well, so what kind of market are we looking at? Is it a buyer's market, seller's market? Well, the way that we answer that question is by using what we call the pending ratio analysis. So when I ran these numbers, there were 527 homes in inventory in the city of Prescott. Of those, 81 were already pending. 81 is 15% of 527, so our pending ratio is 15%. If you look up 15% on our handy-dandy color chart here, you'll see that 15% falls into the strong buyer's market region. For the last several months, we've kind of been jumping between buyer's market, strong buyer's market. This month, we settled in the strong buyer's market area. I wouldn't overinterpret that, kind of been bouncing back and forth. Kind of instructive to look at this by price point, which is what the next chart does. So in this chart, a couple things. First of all, the blue bars at the bottom, that's the number of homes. So that's the transaction volume in each of these price points. So the price points are now 300s and below and 1.2 million and above. So I've been saying I was going to do it for the longest time, finally got around to it. Part of the reason why this report comes out a little late this month is I was fooling with these numbers and trying to adjust these things and move our chart to the right because there was very little that was going on in the 100s and the 200s. And the millions, we used to have a million plus, was getting really, really big. Now we see, well, now the 1.2 million and above is one of our biggest transaction group. So we might have to split that up again, but we'll look at that at the end of this year. All right, so that's the transaction volume. The red dots, that is the pending ratio for homes in that price point. Usually what you see is the lower the price point, the more of a seller's market it is. This is not showing that too much at all. Even 300s and below is at least a buyer's market. And it just kind of jumps all over the place here. You know, instead of seeing that traditional line that goes down to the right, this is kind of bouncing around a bit. So, you know, I was surprised to see 1.2 million so high. And I'm surprised to see, you know, the 800s is an extreme buyer's market, but 1.2 million, 1.1 million, only a buyer's market. It's kind of hard to explain. You know, it's a weird time of year. I wouldn't interpret too much in it, as I said before, but it is what it is. So how long does it take for homes to sell in Prescott? Answer that is 4.4 months until we get to a contract. 0.8 of a month, was 3 weeks, I guess, is the average time in escrow for the month of December. You add those together, a little over 5 months from start to end. All right, so now we're going to turn to Prescott Valley and do the same analysis. We start with our median sales price per square foot. Prescott Valley has been showing about 5% appreciation. That looks like a straight line to me, just like the blue line underneath it is a straight line, so not a lot to report. Still showing 5% appreciation year over year. Looking at transaction volume, we're still doing better than last year. We gained a little back, a little more space between us and last year, so that's a healthy sign. In terms of what kind of market is, we had 233 homes in inventory. 15% of those were pending, so that's still a strong buyer's market, even in PV. Breaking that out by price point, you get a little more of that pattern that I mentioned. You get up into the very high price points. There's very little going on there. Looks like we've got just a few really high-end homes that were enough to kind of put this into a balanced market. Not a lot of homes in the top market over in PV, so I guess it's more of a seller's market in those price points. The rest of this looks just like a traditional diagonal to the right, with the exception of maybe the 700s dipping below the 800s. We've been looking at this little anomaly in the 700s for a while. Less of a seller's market than the 600s and the 800s, go figure. But we've been seeing that pattern for a while. And Prescott Valley, it takes 2.7 months to get under contract, not quite 3. And escrows were going a bit faster, only a half a month. So from start to end, 3.2 months in PV. Here are our highlights. As we said, median price per square foot in Prescott was $317 for the month of December. That is a 4% change over November and 7% year to year. Prescott Valley's now at $300. That basically didn't change at all from last month, so we are still 5% above last year. And looking at volume, we had 102 transactions closing in the month of December. That is 6% higher than last month and 34% higher than last year. So we're seeing a whole lot more volume in December. That's crazy. 49% year over year in Prescott Valley, with a 16% month change since November. So volumes are looking really, really good. Inventories have gotten a bit lower though, 15% less than last month, 22% less in PV. So these big volume numbers have kind of pulled down our inventory. Inventory price still be low for January. Usually February, March is when we start getting, that's kind of the getting into the spring season. We see new listings. So we should see those inventory numbers go up a bit. If not next month, the month after that. Months to contract 4.4, which is down a month from last month in Prescott. 2.7 months to a contract, which is over a month quicker than the previous month in PV. Look, if you like this kind of stuff, we got lots more for you in the Prescott Home Value Report. This is just a summary. We go into specific subdivisions and just a whole bunch of stuff. So lots of slicing and dicing. So I would encourage you to download that report and get it in full. We update this report every month, but it is not the only report we do. We also have what we call the Appraiser's Eye View, which is the last 6 months of the latest comps. And it's broken out by subdivision. In fact, Prescott Lakes, we break it out by neighborhood. So it's very, very detailed. This is an example of what you'll see in the chart. This would be a subdivision. It's sorted by price per square foot, the number of months that it took the home to sell, square footage, the year it was built, how many stories, how many acres, and whether the listing agent is reporting the home having a view or not. Using this, you can look at all the different comps that occurred. You can see the average down here. So using this, it's a really good tool to figure out what you should be paying for a home, or where you might want to price a home that you are selling. So a really cool tool. We even have a video which goes through how to use this information to come up with value estimates for homes. We do a whole lot of tools like this, all of them really very cool for both buyers and sellers. And one thing I should point out is you can't get these from any place else. These are exclusive. You can only get them from the Prescott Pickle Lady. And all of this is part of our page. We call it Prescott by the Numbers, or more commonly the Pickle page. So if you're on the Pickle page, you know the Pickle page. But if you're not the Pickle page, well, you should get to the Pickle page. And you do that by subscribing. We update it every month. If you subscribe, we will send you a monthly email update with the link so you can go download all the reports that you want. Even if you're not all that interested in getting every single month, just having access to these tools will give you a real leg up when it comes to the real estate game. I hope you found this informative and maybe slightly entertaining, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Please take a moment to look below and find the button that'll take you to the Pickle page. We'll see you there.